We're going to continue live at 5 tonight with that breaking news coming out of the city of Buffalo. The Erie County Medical Examiner has now ruled the death of visually impaired refugee Nurul Amin Shah Alah as a homicide.
His cause of death is now confirmed to be a perforated ulcer, which was caused by hypothermia as well as dehydration. You will remember Shah Alah was found dead on Perry Street back in February, just days after his family reported him missing. He had been released from the Erie County Holding Center into Border Patrol's custody before federal agents dropped him off at a Buffalo Tim Hortons.
And we are joined tonight by Two on Your Side's legal analyst and local attorney Barry Covert. Barry, thanks for joining us tonight live at 5. Appreciate it.
I guess we have to ask, will someone be charged since the autopsy showed that the death was caused by the actions?
It's really unlikely. The autopsy does show that it does say that it's caused by a homicide, which means that other people may be somehow responsible. It could be negligence, but that's a low standard to say that in the autopsy report. To prove a criminal charge beyond a reasonable doubt, you have to prove the only 2 charges that might be pertinent here would be manslaughter, which is recklessly causing someone's death, or criminally negligent homicide, which is you should have known that you were causing this person to be in danger of death, but you didn't do anything about it. And again, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. Here he died days later after being apparently dropped off at a Tim Hortons, which was apparently closed already. And it was raining and it was freezing, and he was in the moccasin paper booties from the jail, which don't protect you against any weather whatsoever. He's partially blind. It's not clear how blind he is. Clearly couldn't speak English. Wasn't going to be able to find his way around. There's no pay phones anymore. He didn't have access to a cell phone. Nobody had him make a phone call. So you left this man out in the middle of nowhere to him with no reasonable clothing. Is it shocking that something bad happened to him, that he would have been murdered, robbed, or in this case, that he apparently got lost, didn't know where to go, and eventually, tragically, horribly died? But it's hard to say that the agents 3 or 4 days earlier were engaged in conduct that would lead to his death 3 or 4 days later beyond a reasonable doubt.
So on that note, Counselor, the health commissioner explained that their definition of homicide is different, of course, than what you work with every day, the criminal definition. So what move do you think we'll see from the district attorney, because he now has requested the files?
I think he'll fully investigate it. He'll see how this all went down. The federal government doesn't seem to be helping on these immigration cases, any local agency that's trying to investigate them, but he'll try to get all the information he can. Why was this individual left at a closed store, at a closed restaurant? Why was he left with the clothing that he was wearing that day? What attempts were made to try to find him assistance? But again, beyond a reasonable doubt is a tough standard to meet here. And if he would have died that evening and it was sub-cold weather at 0 degrees or 5 degrees, maybe there's an argument. But 3 or 4 days later, it's hard to say that they should have foreseen it or that they ignored the consequences, even though on a lower level, if it's not reasonable, beyond a reasonable doubt, like a civil lawsuit where it's just by preponderance of the evidence, there would be liability here.
Barry, the state attorney general is involved in this case as well, and as expected when we see a case like this. But what have you seen in the past? We only have about 30 seconds left. Have you seen anything like this in the past? Any scenarios that play out like this?
Not like this at all. I mean, I've seen it with scenarios where you leave somebody in the woods purposely and it's cold and it's freezing, but you know that you're doing that. And it's probably what this is the most akin to. I could see they're performing the investigation and going forward and wanting to bring charges. It's just hard to imagine on these facts, as horrible as they are, and they are horrible, that they can proceed on criminal charges.
That was my question, so you don't see that possibly happening?
No.
Yeah.
Legal analyst and local attorney Barry Covert, as always, thank you so much for coming in and joining us and providing that insight that we and our audience definitely needed this evening.
Thank you.